Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Taurus for July 2015. Go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, or click on the link below this video to see more about my personal live coaching, also to see more about my virtual coaching program, a 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine, which is available on a sliding scale and is intended to help you make the most of the starry opportunities by shifting the internal programs within you to be in alignment with what the wonderful stars want to bring us. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter and become part of my community. So what's going on in July? We've got a wild ride. We've got some sweetness that's carrying over from the end of June and some little pockets of sweetness throughout the month. And then we've got some challenging aspects that are piled up here more towards the second week, middle of the month. And we need to talk about all of this. So we've got 2 full moons this month. And the first is on July 1st and the second is on July 31st. So it's not common that we have 2 full moons in a month, but this is one of those months. This first full moon, July 1st, is this astrological power day of epic proportions. We have so many of everything just happening at one time, and all of it is good. All of it is wonderful. All of it is supportive. All of it is magical. So let's take it piece by piece. We've got this full moon in Capricorn, and many of you are going to experience that full moon in the 9th house. Some of you will experience this, your later degree placements will be in the 8th house. Now, while the Capricorn energy is technically, well, it depends on where it's going to be in your particular chart. That's why it's complicated, because the degree of your Taurus placement is going to determine where actual events happen in your chart. But there's definitely this fullness coming to the 9th house, and the 9th house is this area of international relations, long distance travel, different countries, different cultures, teaching, learning, religion, philosophy, expanded consciousness, writing, publishing, broadcasting is all in this 9th house. So we've got quite a bit of activity in this 9th house coming through different means. And the first layer that we have here is this full moon. So this full moon is beautifully aspected by Neptune, which is in your house of networking. This house of networking groups, internet, social media, somehow involved in this. And Neptune is making this favorable angle both to the sun and to the moon at this full moon time. So this is one of those spots of major creative inspiration. I'm calling a theme of this month to be in your studio. You want to have whatever your mediums are where you create. You want to have them dusted off and out and ready to be played with, because as this inspiration comes, you don't want to be looking for your favorite paintbrush. You don't want to be, looking for your guitar if you borrowed it, loaned it out, or whatever. You want to have all your ways that you might want to express yourself available. And really, I think this is a wonderful practice to have anyway, to have a room or have a space or have a corner or whatever you have available to you where everything that you would use to create with is just out. And how many of us, how many people are walking around without any mode of creation around them? We've got to shift that, and these transits can assist with that, and this recommendation can be part of that. So you want to be in your studio this month, whatever that looks like for you. So as Neptune is bringing this inspiration and this creativity and this beautiful poetic energy to this full moon, we also have Jupiter and Venus conjunct. Now, you earlier degree placements are going to experience this actually in your house of creativity and children and romance and fun and hobbies, and you have Uranus in this, and the rest of you, before I get into how Uranus is involved, the rest of you have this in your house of home and family and affairs related to psychology or childhood or ancestry or home or housing or building or engineering related things related to houses actually, or your own real estate matters. So it's either going to be in the 4th house or 5th house that all of this energy is happening. When I mean all of this, I mean Jupiter has either been expanding that house of creativity for you. If not, it's been expanding the house of home, of family for you. Wherever Jupiter is, it's bringing benevolence, it's bringing potential for bigger things. And so it's either accentuating this fifth house of creativity, or children, bringing actual children into your life, or working with children more, or bringing more creative projects, or bringing more romance, or bringing more fun. The rest of you, that energy is still yet to come. That will be coming for you. But now it's been expanding home. Maybe you have more members of your household. Maybe you moved to a bigger house. Maybe you've moved to a smaller house that you feel more expanded in. This energy of expansion has been going on with Jupiter. So now Uranus, it's like a beautiful symphony. That's what I'm likening it to. That Jupiter has been expanding this space, wherever it is for you. Then Uranus comes in and is sending these beautiful, coherent vibrations of surprise and new things and innovation and support that are coming in and further expanding this energy. Now we have Venus coming in and bringing the energy of love, beauty, and money, aesthetics to this whole picture. And so Uranus is in the 12th house. And the 12th house is this deep, unconscious house that is very connected with dreams, the dreams that we have at night. So your night space, your sleeping space, the time when you wake up in the night or when you just wake up in the morning, has been energized for an extended period of time, really, because Uranus spends a long time. When it's somewhere, it's there for a long time, because it takes 84 years to move around the full circle. So wherever it is, it's there for many years. So this is a longer term thing that's happening. Then in the last year, almost year, it's been in this beautiful aspect, getting stronger and waning with Jupiter, expanding that energy. So your insights through dreams might have become more pronounced. Your desire to work with the unseen and through hypnosis or meditation or psychology or the more esoteric things might have been coming along with this story. But you might have an insight at night, especially during this time, that can lead to more money or be related to something with your romantic life. So you want to have your studio ready. You want to have your, like a notebook at your nightstand, so that as ideas are coming in, and this is, like I said, kind of long-term for you, but it's accentuated at this time at the beginning of the month, but it's something that would be good to have as a long-term practice. So that when you have these insights, Uranus insights are by nature fleeting. They come in and they go out. And they just come like a lightning bolt. They just like strike. But if you don't have some way to record them, or either like literally record them, like if you're recording music or to do something artistic with it at that moment, then at least you have to write down the idea or write the music or whatever it is, so that this fleeting energy can get contained somewhere that you can do something with at a later time. So then Mercury comes in, and for many of you, this is in your second house of money, financial streams of income, your financial security, and it's coming in and making this balance here between this brilliant idea and this creative outlet, and then money or streams of income are somehow involved. So you could dream up literally ideas that increase your money, that become, part of a creative expression that increases your income streams. So we have all that going on at the beginning of the month, and there's this sweetness that just carries over from the end of June that we had going on here, accentuated on this power day of this full moon on July 1st and the days around it. Now, once we start getting into July 6th, we start with these incoherent energies in the distance, more of like a cacophony. My mom would always say, when I was listening to 80s music in the time when it was the 80s, she would say, "What is this cacophony?" And now I really understand what that meant. At the time, like, it was cool and I really liked it, right? But it was a cacophony in a lot of ways. But that's the energy that we're having come in now. We just had a symphony, and now we're having cacophony come in, these incoherently blended instruments that are off key in the form of planetary aspects. July 6th is the first of those. And again, we have this 9th house. For most of you, your later degree Taurus placements will have this in your 8th house still. But the 9th house, but it's close enough that you could have some influence in the 9th house. But so all of you could experience the energy in the 9th house. Some of you might experience it in the 8th house. So the 9th house is this house of inspiration regarding teaching and learning and getting things out to on a bigger level, writing and publishing and broadcasting, and different countries and different languages and different cultures, and philosophy. And now the sun is coming and opposing this Plutonian nuclear force. When that happens, we don't know what's going to happen, but Pluto rules birth and death and transformation and rebirth. And the sun is coming in the house of transportation and communication. So news, or actually transporting yourself physically, could be interfered with somehow. So you really want to watch yourself driving. You really want to watch yourself on your bike. You really want to watch yourself walking. My first go-to with these things these days is don't text while you're driving or while you're walking. What did we do before we could text or be on the phone? We weren't on it, and we were paying more attention to what was going on. So that's a really good idea to get back to that. And these are the times in the chart where you want to prevent the universe from having to give you a message to be more present in the form of something dramatic and possibly dangerous. You want to get the message beforehand so that you don't have to. Maybe you have a near miss instead of an actual event, but your transportation and your communication and those related devices are affected here. And they're not only affected with this transit around July 6th and the days around July 6th. Every time I give you a date, the days around it are also hot spots for manifestation. It's not just on that day. But later on, July 15th, we've got Mercury and Mars then coming and making the same opposition to Pluto. So those of you who are in the later degree position, you might have this flavoring your houses of me and we and my stuff and our stuff, and could be things involving spousal money, family money, inheritances, things going on involving your money versus other people's money, debt, lawsuits. Also could be something involving credit, debt, shared money, something like that. So action there, challenges there, clashes there. So on July 8th and 13th, we have another sweet aspect amidst the madness that has started. It's kind of like, the way I'm hearing this and feeling this is like this symphony, and you're here and it's loud and you're surrounded by it. And then that off-key instrument kind of comes in the background of the symphony. And then the symphony starts getting quiet and closing out and being nearby where you can kind of still hear it a little bit, but what's getting louder is the cacophony. So it's like what's in the forefront is what is changing. So we've got symphony and cacophony throughout the whole month, but the focus on it and the loudness of it and the being right in your face-ness of it is shifting. And now as we're getting into the middle of the month, we've got these aspects that are really just front and center that are challenging. But in the sweetness, we still have Mars and then Mercury coming and making this beautiful aspect to Neptune. So again, possible networking things, possible things related to money, something positive that comes from something related to water or being by the water or being inspired with water. If you're a person who's not near water, you might want to have a little meditation in the tub. You might want to go to a lake if you can. A lot of times intuitive insights will come to people in the shower. It's not a coincidence. Water is this medium of intuition. And if you can't get to water to be inspired with this wonderful transit, you might find by bringing water to you, you might have some more of the influence of it. So that's happening on the 8th and the 13th. And then on July 12th, we have the Sun and Uranus coming and clashing. Now, Uranus is in this 12th house of your unconscious mind. And this challenging energy can bring news or like a jolt to you through driving, again, possibly because the 3rd house is highlighted here, that it kind of throws you off a little bit and or a lot. So you want to have your nervous system supported. Anytime you've got Uranus moving through the 12th house, you're a live wire. You're a live wire for channeling things, even off planet, interdimensional things, creative ideas, like crazy, just awesome ideas. But you also can be getting burnt out. Your electrical system can be getting fried. So you want to have support in the form of magnesium or B vitamins or B vitamins. Of course, you have to check these recommendations with your doctor because I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's going on with you. But these are things that are known to support your nervous system. And this kind of aspect, which is happening on July 12th, and then its follow-up, which is Mercury then making that aspect on July 18th, it's just kind of frying your brain, and you need to get grounded. Also, putting your bare feet and hands in the earth is one of the best free ways to ground electric energy out of your field. Literally, and this is something that can be scientifically looked at. This is scientifically proven. You can look at the energy being grounded. What would, if you had a live wire just spinning around, you would either cap it or you could put it in the earth. It would ground the energy, right? That's how we are. If we have something with Uranus, with our nervous system sparking up our electrical system, we can ground it out into the earth as well. So that's a positive, easy way that you can do that if you're feeling fried. So then we have the new moon in Cancer, and it's supposed to be bringing good new energy, right? And it will, but it's with baggage. So some of you are going to have, just you early degree placements are going to have this actually in the 4th house of Cancer, the new moon in Cancer in the house of Cancer, of home and family. So it's new things happening there. The rest of you are going to have these new opportunities in your house of travel or transportation or communication or something with one of your relatives. But again, it's with baggage. So you want to make your new moon wishes still, but just know that it's going to be kind of awkward. Then we have another sweet spot. The Sun and Mercury make their conjunction, and this is in a nice aspect to Saturn. And Saturn is in your relationship sector. Most of you are going to have this there. If you have late degree Taurus placements, you might have this right on the line of your 7th house, but it's still going to be affecting your relationship. So some sweetness, something good news, something positive happening there. Then Venus goes into retrograde on July 25th. I've been talking about this for months. We really need to be aware of this. We talk about Mercury retrograde often because Mercury retrograde happens more often than Venus retrograde happens. Venus retrograde happens once every 18 months. This will be from July 25th through September 8th. The shadow periods started June 22nd and ends at the end of September. So essentially, the closer you get to July 25th, this is really starting to kick up more. And this is still kind of lingering into the rest of September. But between those dates and then the days around, the weeks around it, you want to avoid your business launches. You want to avoid anything big involving money. You want to avoid big things involving like moving in together, going to the next step in love, because this is a time where you're not seeing clearly. You're missing information. You have rose-colored glasses on. So you want to do those important things when Venus is in a more positive phase for those things. But this is a great time to get a really good bargain on something expensive. It's not a great time to spend a lot of money like on a luxury item. If you get a really good deal on something, that's well indicated in Venus retrograde. But it's not if you're paying a lot of money. It's not great for design projects or decorating. You don't want to spend $10,000 decorating your house in this transit, because the odds that after it's direct, you decide you don't like the design and now you're kind of stuck with it are increased. So you want to try to avoid those things if possible. There are always possible superseding energies in your natal chart that could offset some of this, but these are general things. And I've tried to get around all of this myself because I have Aries rising and I get very impatient. So even though I've been studying astrology for a long time, I've done things against my better astrological judgment and had to learn the hard way. And a lot of them have been involving Venus retrograde. The things that they say to avoid during Venus retrograde, designing things, starting a new business, getting married. I've done all those things in Venus retrograde. And now I know why they say not to do them. You're not seeing clearly. You're not going to have the things you're trying to do be supported on that at that time. So just feel into that, and seek counsel if you have a situation where it's confusing for you, to see if you're supposed to be moving forward. Really try to get your launches out by these first several days in July. If there's something you have to get out, if you're doing something with a website, if you're doing something with a business, and people that you're relying on for launching are saying, yeah, it's going to be in the middle of the end of July or into August, say, no, it's not. I'll pay you more money to make it before then. You have to do it before then. So even if you don't have it in its completion, even if it's just the spirit of it is released, like let's say you were going to open a restaurant in August and there's no way that the restaurant can be done by the beginning of July. have some kind of event where it's open and it's a launch and it's like, hey everybody, we're here. Even if it's a soiree of a sort where it's not fully ready, or something where it's like, hey, we're open, but we're going to kind of close and do some other things or something. It's complicated because I don't know what your situation is, but there's ways around it, but you don't want to have your open then, you know? So try to do what you can to not do that. Okay, so then we have Uranus going in retrograde, making us ask the questions of freedom. What is freedom to you? How can you have more freedom? Venus retrograde and Uranus retrograde happening at the same time is this time to reconsider all of these things in love and money and freedom, but not necessarily to make decisions on them if you can help it. So it's just a good time for reevaluation. The end of the month, July 31st, we have our full moon in Aquarius. Some of you are going to experience this, well, most of you are going to experience this in the 10th house. This is going to be something coming to fruition, something coming to completion, some drama coming, some recognition coming, something notable coming to a culmination in your career and work and life purpose house. So hopefully there'll be some good stuff for you there. And I can't see what's going on in your personal chart. I'd like very much to, if you'd like to have a live coaching reading, astrology coaching reading with me, you can go to my website, aspiritualspark.com. Also, definitely check out my 28-day virtual coaching program. I have had the benefit of looking at thousands of charts of people doing all different kinds of things at every different age, in every different country, and I've gotten to see there's a lot of sameness behind the things that everybody wants help with, and my Shine program is an answer to that. It's available on a sliding scale. Some people can't afford to have a session with me, but the things that I've learned and the things that I see are commonly problems for people and how to navigate around the energy and shift it is what I've put into the program. So check that out. It's available on a sliding scale, and definitely sign up for my free email newsletter where you become part of my community and you get all the perks that come along with that, including a monthly write-up of the things that I talk about in the horoscopes and some different things that I don't talk about as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I will see you next month. Bye.